Today's video is about SSJ Blake, or as he now calls himself, Gobby_01. This is the same man who once told his audience he was leaving the internet to seek help. Yet here he is, still active online and running a new channel as if nothing ever happened. I personally warned him to step away before I released this, but he chose to stay. In preparation for this video, I sat down for an in-depth interview with his former best friend, Multiverse Sonic, also known as Nick, who had a front row seat to Blake's behavior. And I won't be focusing on Blake alone. Brenna, instead of taking accountability and breaking away from predators, continued to aid and defend this kind of behavior. The next part of this video will feature key highlights from my interview with Multiverse Sonic, where he shares his first-hand experiences and evidence, proving to all of you that what I'm saying here isn't speculation, it's the truth.
Yeah, I did. I did notice that. Before anybody, as a matter of fact. I told a lot of my friends about it, and they, then after a while, this guy named Sonic and Friends put out a post about it, talking about how Blake is back and everything like that, and, not sure if people are mass reporting that channel, but honestly they should, because he doesn't deserve to be on the internet anymore. He should literally abide by what he said that he was going to do to the internet. But instead he lied to everybody because he's just that desperate. No, actually, because Blake had already had me blocked at the he already had me blocked at the time, so I couldn't confront him at all. I couldn't at all. If there was one thing that happened, like I said, he blocked me everywhere. He blocked me on Twitter, he blocked me on Discord, he blocked me on YouTube, he blocked me everywhere. Because after some time, I thought to myself, like, wait a minute. Oh, I know what he's doing. He believes that I'm gonna confront him about this. So what better way to do that than to block him, so that way he doesn't get to me. And then that was when that's when I found out about him grooming and engaging in sexual role plays with a minor. Mind you, actually, I actually know the victim myself. They were actually a part of my content. But that is true, though, yes. Brenna did leave her ex to date Blake. Like, not even a week after they left them. Well, here's the thing. I actually had feelings for Brenna. But I wanted her to, like, take her time and, like, get over her breakup and move on and all that stuff from her breakup. So I was willing to give her the time necessary, but basically she played me like a fiddle. She didn't actually love me. So instead she went for Blake. And the thing is that Blake knew that I had feelings for Brenna. He knew. And instead of supporting me, and even though that he claimed that he does support me, then he basically just swiped her from right underneath my feet. He didn't actually care about how I felt. And Brenna admitted to me in the call where Blake admitted that he loves Brenna and that they're in a relationship, and that's when Brenna admitted that she was leading me on. But me being the stubborn I was back then, I just continued to be friends with them. Blake would have 2 other people inside of that group that are still working with Speedy Blue to basically get information and things like that, and see if they're talking shit. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I remember. Okay, so there was a point where I wasn't quite approving of him and Brenna's relationship because of the fact that, well, he basically stole her from me. What happened was that there was a debacle between us, and one of those moments, Blake basically told me that Brenna said herself, but he also wanted to tell me, is that, and I quote, "You don't have a chance with Brenna in the slightest." This was a week into their relationship. Like, Blake just straight up told me that I don't have a chance at all. I didn't say anything. I just sat there in utter defeat. And the thing is like, I'm just concerned at the fact that why doesn't Brenna's mom know about this? Like, there have been a lot of points where I wanted to reach out to Brenna's mother and say, like, hey, your daughter is dating a child predator. There was a point where she would message me a thing that I basically showcased on the stream about Blake, and I told my stream about it, and I showed the message too, and it showed her basically saying how she's still living with Blake, and the message confused me to a high degree, where she would go and say, "Oh, when I found out what Blake did, I was furious with him. I was very pissed off with him and everything like that." But then after like a couple minutes of her sending that message, she sends another message saying that Blake is not a predator. And then I'm just thinking to myself, then why were you upset with him? If you're saying that if you're saying that you were upset with Blake, you were pissed off with him for what he did to the minor, why would you go and say that he is not a predator? And then he would go and say, and then she would go and say how, like, oh, I pretty much, like, Blake told me that he never sent any quote unquote pictures to the minor, but the thing is that he did. He like sent a picture of his bulge and things like that.
You've now heard from Multiverse Sonic, someone who knew Blake and Brenna personally and saw their behavior up close. But his testimony isn't the only one. Up next is my interview with Blake's ex, Nell. She experienced his actions firsthand and dealt with Brenna directly. In this next section, she shares what it was really like behind the scenes. The manipulation, the lies, and the way they operated when the cameras were off. Her account lines up with everything we've already uncovered, and it adds another layer of proof to who these people really are. Let's get into that now.
Hello. I'm doing I've been doing very well today. Thank you for asking. That's okay. Yes, I'm Chanel Monster Hyena on some social media sites, but I'm also Nell or Nell the Monster Hyena, like all over social media. That includes Discord. That includes Discord and other other stuff. I am a content creator. I'm a Twitch streamer since 2020. I'm also an artist and an animator. I'm a VA. I'm a VA for some Sonic related stuff, and including one of my VA groups, which is Twisted Toy Box Dubs. I'm also yes. Hey Arnold, I know. I kind of get that because even one of my friends told me that I'm literally called Nelga, literally because I sound nearly like her. So, once upon a time, I met Blake in January of 2021 when I was like, new to VR chat. Though how it all started was when I, started to follow Sonic character channels on YouTube. It was around the time when I follow in on the bandwagon and being part of the Sonic character channel community. I was Tangle the Lemur at the time. So I met Blake on VR chat around the month of January of 2021, when I joined Sonic VR Chat RP, which is the largest Sonic roleplay group on VR chat. And I'm still a part of this group to this day, despite the fact that it was shut down back in 2022, didn't come back up until 2 years later. Still a part of the group. It's just I've been inactive for a lot of shit that's been going on in regards to my situation as of last year, and a bunch of personal shit that I was dealing with at the time. But Blake and I didn't became mutuals until so Blake and I began being followed each other on Twitter, because I was a fan of his stuff, and same with Multiverse Sonic. Well, Multiverse Nick. Me and Blake ended up talking to each other. I would usually ended up hanging out, and it's also around the time when I was still in college, and he and I literally would begin hanging out a little bit more often. Online, actually, because it was on VR chat, and then he and I would add each other on Discord. Yes. Yes, because she is also the reason why I lost a bunch of friends of mine, and it was also said because she manipulated me into thinking that Blake is a predator or a bad guy, which unfortunately it rings true to this very day. Yes. So Nick can confirm with me that he has seen me and Blake being all cuddly and shit. We both ended up like being friendly towards each other, although he has a habit of flustering me a lot, and that is my main weakness. So as time went by, like until like around February, that's when Blake and I started to have feelings for each other, and I didn't know what to make of that at first, but at the same time, I also had feelings for him, and he and I didn't ended up dating until Valentine's Day, and I was in a stream with a friend of mine who I was like collaborating with. It was like both an in character and an out of character stream, considering the fact that you know I was mostly Tangle. I think there are many times where I did tell him about my race because I'm black, for instance. That was my biggest regret, that I ever did tell Blake about my race, being black. And yeah, he has said at least some racist slurs even when I'm around, and that alone made me like extremely uncomfortable. Okay. But I think throughout this relationship, he can be a little emotionally abusive. And I'm saying this because he has told me, like, a few times, like, throughout my relationship with him, to not be, like, affectionate towards him, despite the fact that I'm a very affectionate person. Now, I'm gonna make this clear. When it comes to relationships, I am very affectionate, especially towards like my partner. I'm like very affectionate, especially towards my current relationship that I have right now. She's amazing and I love her to death. He has a habit of flustering others, and the one mistake that I have made is the fact that he asked me to ERP with those who me and him were close with at the time, and I'm like, yeah, but that alone sent me major red flags. And that's also around early March of 2021 when I met one of my best friends of like 4 years, who I will not name, not only out of respect for her, but also because I don't want her to be, thrown under the bus, as she is actually dealing with her own personal problems in real life. She has stuck with me throughout like a year, for an entire year or two, until that falling out that she and I had 3 years ago, where she was like MIA. Right now, she's actually busy, but at the same time, Blake ended up ERPing with her, and I started it again, and I ended up getting jealous, like a lot. But I didn't tell him this because I didn't want him to be pissed off, so I just like literally silence myself from that. And then It wasn't. Yes. Huh? Correct. I will confirm. Yeah. Yes, I do. I do, because another friend who came into the picture the moment when she got on VR chat for the first time. I'm also not naming who out of respect, because she's one of my really really good friends, even though she lives in the same state as I am, which is Florida. But it's the fact that I was also jealous and of her, of this, and Blake has been, you know, cheated. Didn't realize where that I wanted an open relationship, which I don't. I just wanted to have a closed relationship, is all. This is where Uni comes into play, because I didn't hear much about Uni until I was told by Nick and Blake, as well as many other friends in our group, that Uni was causing trouble, especially for Blake, because I'm aware in the fact I wasn't aware in the fact that she was trying to get rid of him, like off the site, like off of social media, off of YouTube. And the irony is that she was also a groomer. She was also a very shitty person, that she's also a manipulator, and she tends to steal, she tends to like do shitty things. And I pretty much like stayed far away from her. And I told, like, I reassured Blake that it will get better, because Uni will not like take him down in any case. I do. I've actually commissioned art from her twice in a row. The first time I did, I think, was around April, and then late 2021 is when I last commissioned her to get a lichen version of my Sona, because she was doing like lichenize, she was doing like those kind of commissions where she makes everyone's Sonic OCs into lichens, because lichens are her close species, even though they're literally they not are not exclusive to them being Mobian. They could be like any variant of wolf creatures. So considering that Blake and I have been dating for 4 years ago, over the course of 3 months, he broke up with me, like literally broke up with me. And I was like, I was literally devastated, because the amount of love that I put to him was like non-existent to him. Just, you know, he was, I guess he was like love bombing me. I don't know. And, you know, I was not it wasn't around that when I was like desperate. I was desperate. Yeah, back then I was desperate to have him back into being my boyfriend again, but I had to learn the hard way of, you know, moving on from him, because I guess he literally broke my heart. And yes, at one point I did work with him at least once. I was also in his streams at least three, 4 times, like that year. Yeah. And it was also when I was like Tangle for one of his for the one video that he did, which is Bad Shadow. No, wait, it was 2 because I also was he was Boom Sonic, I was Tangle, and then in another one which was a VRC video that took place around Valentine's Day when me and Blake, well, when Blake was Bad Shadow and I was Tangle, like Tangle the lemur at the time. So yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, a few years later, I think it was last year that I didn't know about this information until recently, where one of my friends like DM'd me saying, "Hey, do you know that Blake was a child predator?" And I was like, "No, I was not aware of this." And then another one of my friends DM'd me the screenshots, and the moment I started looking at the screenshots, I was like, what the fuck? What the actual hell? That is the dude that I dated for 4 years over the course of 3 damn months. A pedophile, a fucking predator to a minor. What the fuck? I was not only that I was disgusted, but my god, I was just angry. And this is sheer irony. This is sheer irony. Oh my god. Where do I begin with Brenna? Right now. The fact that she is not only defending him, but also the fact that she literally had to move into her own home. This is just infuriating me. I don't think I would like associate myself with her, even though I only use her art, but I wanted to use didn't want my variant, my Lycan variant that I got from her to go to waste, because I want to keep that design. It's just me personally, I don't want to be associated with an artist who is associated with her boyfriend who is literally a child predator. Yeah, I understood that they were still living together. But here's a reason why I said it was sheer irony. Listen. So late May, early June of 2021. This is around the time when this was after when, Blake and I broke up. I was, talking with one of my VA friends who is currently of age right now, and she was a minor and he was also a minor at the time. He was asking me if I knew this person, and I said yes. And And he also asked me if I was aware that he was like a minor, and I was like, no, I was not aware, because the minor in question, one of my VA friends who was a minor at the time was like talking, and bear this in mind, this was way back in 2021. Me and this VA friend are on good terms. We are like friends. We're friends, so to speak. We don't talk as much as I normally do because I'm very busy with other stuff. But it's also due to the fact that, you know, a lot of stuff was like misunderstandings and such. So basically speaking, he thought that I was talking inappropriately to this minor that is my VA friend. He blocked me on not Twitter. He blocked me on Discord and even on VR chat. It took me till early June to clear my name. And unfortunately, after that was cleared up, it caused me to not even collab with Blake any further. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I never cheat. I honestly never. I don't cheat. It's just I never cheat on him. It was the fact that he was also cheating as well, so that's also some hypocrisy right there. Yeah. To Blake, I wanted to say this only to Blake personally. I don't wish you the best in life, but I will only say this. Because of the fact that you've hurt me and Nick, don't forget what you have done to me. I will never forget I will never forget those times when you are nothing more than just a little shit. I will not hesitate to, you know, get you off of social media and get some help. Get some help! For fuck's sakes! Sorry, I just needed to get that out of my chest. Yes. I believe we're all good, but I will say to the minor that was like affected by Blake, I hope you're doing okay, and especially with Nick, I hope you're doing alright, man, and I hope we talk again, like, soon-ish, whenever I'm not as busy as you would be as well. I hope things will also get better for you as well.
Blake and Brenna have spent years hiding behind screens, doing disgusting and manipulative things behind closed doors. And despite despite everything they've done, they're both still online, still active, still pretending, still hoping people have forgotten. Let me make something very clear. I know a lot about both of them, far more than they realize. And Blake, this is your final warning. You have until the end of this week to get off the internet entirely, or things will get much worse for you. I've held back more than you think, but that restraint has limits. To everyone watching, do not let these people keep operating in the dark. Report Blake's channel, the one under his new alias, and stop him from continuing the same cycle he promised he'd leave behind. Brenna isn't innocent either, and she remains part of the problem by backing predators instead of standing against them. This is not the end. This is the beginning of accountability. Random the Bat, stop defending creeps and cyberbullying others. If you keep throwing your lot in with them, you'll drown right alongside them. This is the only warning you're getting. As for Brittany J. Miller, deleting your 2 main YouTube channels doesn't erase what you are. You still have that small hidden account on YouTube. And word is, you're planning a quiet return to VR chat. You're not invisible, and I'll be covering you in full in my next video. Make no mistake, you're a creep, and your time hiding in the shadows is running out.